I am one of the millions of mothers in South Sudan who have lost loved ones. And I would like to just say how sorry I am for all the things which is happening in South Sudan. I'd like to offer my condolences to people who have lost their sons, their daughters, husbands, family members, and who are so desperate and so much in need of help, a help which is in very short supply by our government. I don't represent any party or any group of people. I'm just a concerned citizen of South Sudan. I live in the diaspora, and that's maybe why I am able to pluck some courage and speak up. Today is the day that the South Sudanese people can see that it's possible to speak out. Most of the people who have been speaking are speaking either to praise President Salva Kiir or his government members. But today they have got to hear it out from somebody on the other side. And that's something which is encouraging. President Salva Kiir has been saying that people in the diaspora are cowards because they're hiding behind their computers. Let them come down to South Sudan and speak. But I would say that we are no cowards. We are only using our computers to communicate. But what about him? He is using his army and his militia to hide behind. He's using his guns, he's using the Ugandan soldiers to protect him against his own people. So if he's using all these things to hide behind, why shouldn't we hide? And thanks be to God, we have got all this social media where we can communicate. And today, this is how we are going to communicate, because the president thinks that he is the one who should speak to people and people should hear. And he doesn't want to hear what people have got to say to him. They are silencing everybody who wants to speak out and to say how much in pain they are. So today I am going to do this. I am not against anybody from a different ethnic group. I feel that we, the South Sudanese people, should forget from where we come, should forget about our tribes, because this is the main problem that we have got. We keep doing the same mistakes over and over again. We have got to forget where our tribes are. We should all come together as South Sudanese people. This is the only point where we can work together and where we can sort out our country, which is in a very terrible mess. Salva Kiir doesn't stand for the Dinka people, because I have seen so many Dinka people who are in so much pain, who have lost so many loved ones, and who are on the run. Today, they are polarized against other tribes in South Sudan through no fault of their own. It's through the fault of the government, because this is how they are thriving, by pitching one tribe against the other. And unfortunately, the Dinka people are suffering more than any other people. In Khartoum today, if you go, you will find it's only the Dinka and the Nuer people who are in so much misery. They are there sitting under the sun with no shelter, with nothing. And if really these people who claim to be the Dinka governors of South Sudan and who claim to be the only people who can rule South Sudan, why don't they go there to Khartoum and other places and rescue their own people? This shows that they are not for those people. They are only for the few, the very few on the top there. When we signed the referendum, we didn't do that so that only a few will take everything and will leave us with nothing. Not only that, and kill us on top of that. This is what we didn't sign for. And this is what this transitional government has got to oversee. I know that President Salva Kiir and his vice, Dr. Riek Machar, they are now in pole positions and they are holding the whole country as a ransom. Nothing is moving, nothing is shifting because of those two men. And I feel, and so many millions of South Sudanese people feel, that these two people shouldn't be in government at all. But since they have been taking this position, they will have to fill that position properly. This time round, we are not going to leave them to do what they want. We will have to force them to do what we want as South Sudanese people. For 10 years, we have been listening to all the things they have got to say to us, and they have done nothing. Not even one road has been built. No hospital has been built. No schools, nothing. And today, the South Sudanese people have been reduced to a state of hunger, which is unprecedented. We, as South Sudanese people, have got to stand up and be counted. We cannot keep quiet. If I, who is only 5'3.5" is able to speak out, why don't other people speak out? Why don't other people do something? The Lord God has said to you, I will turn you into a weapon, into a rod. And this is only done by you sticking together. You have got to stick together. Every tribe, the 64, Dinka, Nuer, Zande, Shuluk, Taposa, Didinga, everybody have got to come together and to stick together. Stop killing each other, because what you are doing is just feeding into all the plans of these people. They want us to be polarized. They want us to hate each other. And this is the only way they can thrive. Because if we all come together, they will have got no power. There will be no power in them, even with their helicopter gunships, even with their army, with their militia and everything. There will be nothing, because they are only few. We are 11 million and they are just a handful. What we can do, we can stick up together, and we have got to fight together. We have got to march. We have got to stand up. Everybody, if every man and woman stands up in their house, I think South Sudan will have different rulers. We don't have to kill anybody. We are a weapon. Our number is a weapon, our togetherness. That's why they are trying their very best in order to separate us, in order to keep us apart. We have never hated the Dinka. The Dinka have never hated us. As a child, I grew up in the Dinka land, and they are one of the nicest people I have ever come across. So I don't think there is anybody in South Sudan who hates anybody. It's those bad rulers who are trying to segregate people, who are trying to make people hate each other so that they can climb on their shoulders. We are not going to have this. As women, we can be a force. We are 3/4, which is something like 8 million out of 11 million of the total population of South Sudan. As women, we are the mothers of the nation. We have got to stick for the rights of women in whatever political setup or whatever grouping we are in. It doesn't matter if we are different. We have got to stand up for women. This is the only way that South Sudan will become a nation. It's up to us really to put things together. We have got to improve ourselves, to keep improving ourselves and speaking out. We have got to speak out. Those women in government, they have got to do something about this mess which the men have created. Because God has said that I will give them children to torture them and women to rule over them if they are as bad as this government that we have got. And since it's 28 governors who are all men, they think that they know better. We as women, we can beat them in the elections. If we stick together to our principles, we can do away with them so that this nation, which is facing so much problems, will start to become a nation and will start to have some peace. With men in government, South Sudan will never progress. I wish that during this transitional government, things will change. Women will be brought in more in order to sort out the terrible mess which the men are creating. Every day people are dying and nobody is accountable for that. There is nobody who has been brought to justice. And we need justice. Our men who have been killed, our sons who have been killed, our daughters, we need justice. We need to bring them. A young man who dies from the Dinka tribe is a South Sudanese man. A young man from the Zande tribe is a South Sudanese man. It doesn't matter really which tribe. We are all South Sudanese. We have got to click our fingers and wake up. We have got to wake up. We are doing the same mistake for the last 10 years. We have got to stop. We have got to stop this tribalism. We have got to stop listening to Salva Kiir and Riek Machar because they are the same. They are two faces to the same coin. For 10 years, they have led us through a rose garden only to throw us into a deep hole. It's only us, ourselves. We are the only ones who can claw out of this. I hope that one day we will come to our senses and we will realize that these men are bad news to South Sudan. I hope that we will realize this. And I am really sorry for all the things which these men have created in South Sudan. Now South Sudan is a joke in the whole world. We South Sudanese are intelligent people. We are good people. But we have been reduced to nothing because of only two men. We have got to stop them during this transitional period. We have got to stop them because I think enough is enough.